Good day, future doctors and medical technologies. Welcome back again to another episode of Histopathology Lecture with Mr. Neil, and I'll be your professor for today. So today we're going to talk about the immunohistochemical staining, the IHC. Okay, so in IHC, these are the topics, no? Outline ng topic natin. So just a brief introduction on what IHC is. It is usually done after ng biopsy. Okay, so here, remember that the patient already has cancer. Okay, so since after na siya ng biopsy, ibig sabihin nag-positive na si patient sa cancer. IHC is done for us to determine what is the specific, problem na nag-cause ng cancer niya. Ano yung specific po na nag-cause ng cancer niya? Here, basta pag nakarinig na kayo ng IHC, for IHC na yung patient natin, yung specimen niya, ibig sabihin positive na siya for cancer. IHC is done to determine what kind of treatment ang ibibigay sa patient. Okay, what kind of treatment ibibigay sa patient, ano yung next course of action. So usually, di ba si biopsy, kay si pathologist man magbasa ng result, then mag-recommend si pathologist ng IHC procedure to determine ano yung specific na nag-cause talaga. So ngayon, pag may result ng si IHC, ibigay ni pathologist ng result, si oncologist na po yung magbibigay ng treatment regime kay patient, kung ano yung next course of action niya. Okay, so let's start with the discussion. So ito po yung yung sinabi ko kanina, histology to detect the presence of specific protein markers that can assist in accurate tumor classification and diagnosis. Remember po that the factors that influence the immunohistochemical staining result starts in the surgery operating room and end at the interpretation of the stain by the pathologist, which ultimately leads to the treatment decision by the oncologist. So nakita po ninyo sino-sino yung mga tao involved, si surgery, si surgeon, si pathologist, and then si oncologist. Okay? So once again, pag nagpa-IHC na si patient, usually yes, positive na yun sila for cancer. Nagpa-IHC lang sila to determine the specific po na cause ng cancer. Okay? So, these are the pre-analytical steps for IHC. So, pre-analytical, ibig sabihin before the actual IHC. So, mag-undergo muna ng biopsy. Yan. Mag-undergo ng biopsy, mag-accessioning, mag-grossing, mag-tissue embedding, sectioning, hanggang sa magkaroon ng biopsy result. Pag may biopsy result na si patient, tapos positive siya for that biopsy, mag-recommend si doc ng IHC. Let's say for example, nagpa-breast, breast yung sample ni patient, then nag-positive siya sa biopsy positive. So ngayon, i-determine natin ano yung nag-cause ng cancer kay patient. So usually ang IHC dyan na mga stains po, or the immunohistochemical stains, i-request ng doctor dyan with the ER, PR, and HER2/neu. Okay, HER2/neu. ER, PR, estrogen receptors, progesterone receptor. These IHC stains po are needed for the oncologist to know what kind of treatment po ibibigay sa inyo. So, sa analytical step po ng IHC is the actual staining po. The staining procedure for IHC is very long. That's why usually pag sa histopath po, 1 day po to siya gina-perform. I mean, gina-dedicate po ang buong araw only for IHC lang. Kasi, yes, it's a very tedious task po. Sa part din natin na medtech, kasi medtech po nagpa-perform nito. So, staining is the analytical part of the IHC process. It encompasses antigen retrieval, application of the primary antibody, and visualization system, ending with counter staining. Okay, so, let's move on sa next slide para makita ninyo po, So, these are the analytical steps po. You need to isa puso po ito siya. Okay, so una, we have the antigen retrieval, Antigen retrieval. It is performed to recover the antigens that may be altered by fixation. So remember po, ang specimen na receive natin sa IHC, kay blocks and slides na lang po. The blocks and slides na lang po. Blocks and slides that are nanggaling sa biopsy niyo. 'Di ba sa biopsy ang gina-receive for biopsy is yung specimen result, yung specimen, histopath request, 'di ba? Doctor's request, kana man ang gina-receive sa biopsy. Sa IHC ang gina-receive natin is the histopath result ng biopsy niya, yung blocks na nanggaling sa biopsy niya, and then yung slides na galing sa biopsy niya. So, ang gina-receive natin for IHC are the blocks and slides. So, for the antigen retrieval po, this is important because since the blocks po is nag-undergo po yan siya ng tissue processing procedure, okay, you need to, yes, perform antigen retrieval to retrieve the antigens po that may been altered by the fixation during the biopsy procedure. Okay? I hope klaro po yun ha. You need to perform antigen retrieval to retrieve or para ipa-expose ulit yung mga antigen na may have been altered during the biopsy, yung initial na tissue processing procedure. Ngayon, for the blocking naman, endogenous enzymes are blocked. No, this time can be also performed after primary antibody. So in blocking po, from the word blocking, ibig sabihin, since we are targeting a specific po, no, let's say for example yung sa ating ERPR HER2/neu, so since ang gusto natin is specific lang talaga na kakapitan ng ano natin, ng antibody natin, no, specific lang yung antigen na kakapitan niya, yung perform blocking. Ang gagawin ng blocking is tatakpan niya yung mga sites o yung mga exposed areas po ng ating tissue sample na hindi po relevant sa target natin na antigen. Yes, no? So if the patient is kanang tawag yan, ERPR HER2/neu po yung ating mga antibodies, so specific lang po yung kakapitan nila. So para mas maging tama po yung result natin, you need to perform blocking para at least hindi maka-interfere with the testing. Okay? Blocking is used to, yes, to block those or irrelevant po sa IHC procedure. And then you're going to add your primary antibody. Okay? Yung primary antibody natin, ito na po yung specific na magbabind sa antigen of interest. So in this particular case po, sa breast mass natin, no, sa breast mass from the biopsy natin before na nag-positive, we want to test for ERPR and HER2/neu. Okay? So those are your primary antibodies. Specific po talaga yan sila. Okay? And then after that, you need to perform enzyme HRP. Enzyme HRP stands for horseradish protein. So this is the secondary antibody that carries the label enzyme. Upon application, it binds to the primary antibody. Okay, so parang ganito po yan. Ito yung ating antigen na na-expose natin with the antigen retrieval. Nag-perform tayo ng blocking to block all kanang mga dili need bindan. Okay, you add your primary antibody. Okay, and then you're going to add your enzyme HRP pack. The enzyme HRP will bind here. Ay, pangit ang drawing ko. Ulitin na natin. Ayan. And ito yung blocking. Ito yung target natin. The antibody will bind po. And then the enzyme HRP will bind. Okay, will bind here. Ayan. Dikit siya. Okay? So, after ng binding ng enzyme HRP, para ma-view natin siya under the microscope, okay, you are going to perform counter staining. Okay? Counter staining. So, before counter staining po, you need to add the coloring agent, the DAB+, no, the DAB, itong DAB. DAB+, ito po yung magbabind sa ating horseradish protein, no, magbind yan siya dyan. So, that's why makita mo siya under the microscope na, ay, okay, pa may color to, ibig sabihin, nakadikit siya dito, ibig sabihin, may natamaan siya na, yes, exactly, antigen of interest. So ngayon, para mas ma-visualize mo yung entire structure, you're going to perform counter staining to visualize the nuclei and overall tissue architecture. So sino pa ba talaga ang magiging counter stain sa IHC? A, eosin, B, hematoxylin, and yan lang silang choices natin. So, sagot natin is hematoxylin. Okay, so in IHC, hematoxylin is the counter stain. Remember ha, in IHC, hematoxylin is the counter stain kasi siya yung yes, okay, magbabind sa mga nuclei and overall structure, siya yung mag-stain. So, siya yung counter stain dito, siya yung background stain dito. After that, no, after you perform ito silang procedure, the sections now are dehydrated, mounted, and cover slipped. Okay, dehydrated, mounted, and cover slip. Okay, so let's check for the post-analytical step. No, isa-isa natin procedures later. So in post-analytical steps, no, process, the pathologist interprets the stains in context with positive and negative tissue control using the bright field microscope. The results are reported to the oncologist for the treatment decision. So remember, si pathologist does not give the treatment. Okay? Siya lang magbasa, mag-interpret ng results sa stains, and then yung reports po, yung result ng IHC, si oncologist na po maggawa ng treatment regime. Okay? So, in sectioning po, no, kasi after nyan guys, no, the sectioning use quality slides, no? Quality slides yung ganito, yung charge. The reason bakit charge slides po yung gamit natin, because in IHC po kasi, you're going to use microwave ovens that will be able to heat the 100 degrees Celsius po. So, if normal slides na yung gagamitin natin, they might break. Okay? And, charge slides tends to be much stronger than a regular slide, and mas makapit po kasi ang charge slide po. Mas magkapit po yung sample sa if charge slide yung gamit natin. Okay? Take particular care to use thin flat sections that are being thoroughly dried onto the slide, no? Preferably use charge slide or APS coated APES coated slides for IHC. Kasi nga pag hindi, pangit po talaga siya. So ang charge slide maybe may word na charge, or meron yung iba na may nakalagay lang dito na plus plus. Yun. Medyo mas expensive po ito sa normal na glass slide natin. So we also have the use of internal control. So that's why practice natin when we do fish out po is dapat isa lang talaga, because minsan pag IHC man good, we use control, no? Ginasabay natin process yung control alongside the patient specimen, okay? These controls must be processed identically to the patient. So sabay sila i-stain, sabay sila mag-undergo ng IHC procedure. It will be advantageous to have this control stain only marginally positive, as to monitor not only for the presence of antigen but also for any possible loss of sensitivity. This loss might not be apparent if only intensely staining controls are used. Controls for loss of sensitivity would be particularly important, for example, when staining tumors. So, ibig sabihin po guys, usually ito po yung ginagamit natin na control kay lang po siya, hindi siya yung OA kaya na pagka-positive good, yung sakto lang, para malaman natin that the reagents that we are still using is still sensitive pa po. Kasi nga, kung ito sila kanang isog sila na pagka-positive kanang yung positive jud, despite how weak the stain na magamit is mag-positive jud sila, dili na nato ma-test ngayon na okay pa yung reagents natin. Remember po, here in IHC, it's very matagal kasi masyadong procedure. So, ang stains din na gamit natin dito, no, the IHC stains that we use are over time nag-deteriorate po yung sensitivity nila. So that's why when we do the IHC procedure, usually kinaanuhan natin siya ng control na sample na hindi masyado kanang positive good talaga ng husto. Okay? Kasi may margin kasi yung kanang positive talaga masyado, yung medyo positive lang, But remember po, in IHC, pag nag-positive ka, kahit na medyo positive lang yan, nanadyo kay cancer, no? The purpose lang ng IHC talaga is to determine the next course of treatment po para sa iyo. So these are all the IHC procedures na materials. I think familiar naman siguro kayo dyan. So isa-isay natin yan sila. Ayan pa. So, the selection of proper antibodies. So, remember po, this is an example of an IHC stain po, no? Particularly the CD23. Okay? So, for the primary antibodies, the sensitivity and specificity are the core elements. Ideally, the primary antibody must provide both a high sensitivity and high specificity to produce an accurate and robust IHC assay. Monoclonal antibodies, so dalawa po yung source. It might be monoclonal or polyclonal. Ang monoclonal po, no, kay single lang po, from the word mono, ibig sabihin very specific lang sila. They have high specificity, consistency, and purity. Ibig sabihin po, tawag yan, specific lang sila sa isa, no? They are produced in mice according to the in vitro hybridoma method developed by Kuller. For the polyclonal naman, from the word poly, ibig sabihin marami po. Okay, marami. So they are produced in rabbits. Kung monoclonal from mice, poly from rabbits po by traditional immunization techniques. So sa traditional immunization techniques po, kay introduce po yung antigen po sa isang animal, and then the animal will make the antibodies. Okay? So here po, since dili man sila ano po tawag yan, hindi man sila tawag yan, um, hindi man sila specific, no, high sensitivity naman sila. They are not specific pero sensitive sila kasi halos kung polyclonal man good guys, you have to understand that it will react on multiple antigens, no, whereas sa monoclonal specific lang jud isa ra jud. Sa polyclonal kay yes, it will react to multiple antigens, therefore it has higher sensitivity. Okay, so ito siya na example is monoclonal mouse. So mas preferred po ng mga pathologists natin nowadays would be the monoclonal antibodies. Okay, monoclonal po ang mas better. So we have the target retrieval solutions. Okay, the target retrieval solutions. So these are used, no, 'di ba? Number 1 natin, antigen retrieval. Ito po yung solution na ginagamit doon. Because the major drawback of your formalin fixed paraffin embedded tissues is that the formalin induced molecular modification of proteins or the antigens, no, which may result in loss of the ability of the antibody to react with the antigen. So that's why you need to perform target retrieval solution or the antigen retrieval, no, using the TRS or the target retrieval solution para ma-expose po yung mga na tago during fixation. Okay, so this will improve antigen expression sa specimen natin by breaking down formalin induced antigen cross-linking, re-exposing the epitopes of the antigen to antibody binding. Okay, so remember din, no, aside sa using this solution, the TRS or the target retrieval solution, when you're going to perform antigen retrieval, you can also use heat and enzyme retrieval po, no, kanang kasi nga pag 'di ba pag heat naga-hasten po yung ating mga reaction. So heat partnered by enzyme, no, magiging effective po siya. So ito yung tinatawag natin na HIER or the heat induced epitope retrieval. So ito yung most common po na gina-perform, itong heat-induced epitope retrieval kapag yes, hindi po available yung target retrieval solution. Okay? So ito siya magawa to siya guys sa microwave or inside pressure cooker. Okay? So we also have ka ng mga wash buffer. Kaya dito po sa IHC guys, kadaming beses ninyo mag-wash. Promise. Sige lang, there is a proper po na procedure po talaga. Meron tayong Dayco pen. Ang Dayco pen po is ito po yung, 'di ba? Ito yung glass slide. Kapag nagsulat ka diyan using Dayco pen, tapos nagpatak ka ng tubig, the tubig will not go out. They will not leak out. They will avoid going out. No, because the pen, yung ink ng pen natin is hydrophobic po siya. So ibig sabihin, the water will not go near sa sa ink ng pen natin. Dili jud mag-leak ang specimen. Okay, so let's see the procedures po. This usually immunohistochemistry, the best po na gina-perform should be manual. Ito rin yung preferred nila, doc. Why? Because kung manual man good, no, mas lalo na kung magaling po yung mga medtechs natin, no, kanang may focus, dili tangaon, mas preferred na dyan nila, doc, no, na mga pathologists na nakilala ko po, no, usually. Kasi nga, if manual man good, if there's something wrong with the solution, with the procedure, makita mo agad-agad. Unlike sa machine na nasa loob ng, unlike sa automated na nasa loob ng machine na wala kang idea kung ano nangyayari, di ba? Okay? So, as usual po, no, as usual, after makat ang specimen from the blocks na binigay, we're going to perform, yes, deparaffinization, no? So, yung saline will deparaffinize the specimen, no? We'll remove the wax and then we're going to perform absolute alcohol each, no? Ito siya absolute 95. So, ibig sabihin pababa, that is rehydration. The rehydration. Deparaffinization first, then rehydration, and then ito na. Placing the staining jar containing diluted TRS in water bath. Cover the staining jar. So, please do read this one. Okay? Ano ko na lang dito sa picture natin. Okay? So, dito po, after na magawa yung deparaffinization na meron ka ng na-rehydrate na pudni mo siya, ilagay mo dito yung sample mo. Okay? After mo malagay yung sample mo dito po, no? Malagay mo yung sample mo dito, you're going to place it in a solution with the TRS, no? With the TRS, with the target retrieval solution. After that, ito siya example to ng heat-induced, no, enzyme retrieval. So, since heat induced man, gagamit tayo ng water bath. So, the water bath is 995 degrees Celsius po yung temp niya. So, after mo malagay ng slide mo dito, lagay mo dito, lagyan mo ng TRS, lagay mo sa loob ng water bath. Yan na siya for 25 minutes. After that, ipa-cool down na po siya at room temp. And then, yes, you're going to wash it, no, for 5 minutes. After nyan, ito na yung mangyayari. After siya na ma-wash, yan po. After siya ma-wash, you're going to add Dacopen dito sa gilid niya. Yan, tsak. Tsak. Ang purpose ng Dacopen, guys, no, na nalagay mo dito, kaya para kahit anong solution pong ilagay ninyo dito, magstay lang po siya sa loob. Magstay lang siya sa loob para hindi siya maglabas. Okay? So, after dito, no, yung sa water wash, wipe, then lagay ninyo yung Dacopen. And then, you're going to perform blocking. Okay? So far, nagawa na natin yung number 1. We have the antigen retrieval. Number 2, ito na po yung blocking na gagawin natin. Okay? So, sa blocking po, itong nilagyan mo ng Dacopen, dyan po mag-drop ng blocking solution. Dyan po i-drop. The blocking solution will not go out because of the Dacopen. Okay? So, pag nalagay na dyan, you're going to place it in, yes, an moist chamber. Okay, or the incubation chamber po natin. Dito po siya ilagay yung slide, then takpan po yan siya for 5 minutes. After that, wash na po tayo using the wash buffer. Pansin nyo, walang gina-introduce na tap water. Wash buffer po, because here, ano mo natin to be really specific po, no? Dapat walang mga external na interfere. After ng wash buffer, so number 3 na tayo, we have the, yes, addition of your primary antibody. So, in this case, we have the CD3, no? But in ano po talaga na ano, let's say for example, yung breast panel natin kanina, no? It might be ER, PR, HER2 nyo po yung lalagay dito. Same din. The Dacopen is there. The Dacopen now will, yes, okay, will prevent the primary antibody to escape. Then, lagay na po siya sa moist chamber natin. Ito na yung staining na part, no? The primary antibody. After that, wash na naman. After washing, yes, ito na yung 4th step natin, the addition of your, yes, enzyme HRP or the horseradish protein. Okay, Dacopen ulit, then yung horseradish protein natin, then incubate na naman. After that, anong next? Yung DAB, the addition of DAB substrate. The DAB substrate po now will give color po kung positive po or kung merong nadikitan po yung ating primary antibody. Kasi once again, di ba, if positive po yung sample natin, usually, if this is the target antigen, the primary antibody will attach. And then the enzyme HRP will attach. And then the DAB citrate will attach, giving daw the color po, no? Ito yung makita natin under the microscope. So, kung may makita kang ganito, sure ka na naka-attach siya sa target antigen mo. Okay? So, after that, no, distilled water, 10 seconds. Ito na, mag-washing na po. Distilled water. And then, yes, counter staining. Perform counter staining using your counter stain here, the hematoxylin. Distilled water, wash buffer. Tapos, distilled water ulit, times 2. Pansin po ninyo, 10 seconds, diba? Mahaba po kasi yun na procedure. And usually, if mamali ka kahit isa lang, delikado po yan. Reminding everyone ulit that IHC procedures are quite expensive because ang per stain po yung binabayaran nyo. Minsan, ang isang stain, the minimum of 3,000 pesos. So, kung breast panel po yan, ER/PR HER2 nyo, 3 na po yun na stain agad. So, more or less, mga 9,000 po yun. And then, ikaw na medtech, nagkamali ka lang dahil lang sa ano, sayang naman po. Plus, the procedure is quite matagal po kasi siya. Okay? After ng distilled water natin, you will perform, yes, dehydration, 95 times 2, 100 times 2, and then silane times 2. The purpose of silane here, no? Yes, for mounting, para magtaas na naman yung refractive index ng ating specimen. Okay? You add silane, then you perform mounting po. Ayan o, nag-mount si ma'am. After mounting, meron ka ng, yes, slide. Okay? So, meron po tayong tinatawag na all-red score. Okay, once again, hindi lahat ng gina-IHC will have an all-red score. Okay, we have the PS and the IS. PS stands for the proportion score. IS stands for the intensity score. Minsan, no, sometimes, medtechs are tasked to read the proportion score. And then, sila doctors na po or sila doc na ang magbasa ng intensity score. So, ngayon, let's say for example, nagbigay ka ng proportion score mo, no? Nagbigay ka ng proportion score mo. Ang proportion score, guys, is let's say for example, ito yung field natin. Is kung in one field, ilan po yung gaano kadami po yung nag-positive na nakita mo. So usually ikaw ma-estimate 'yan, no? So let's say sabihin natin na 2 po, 2 yung nakita mo. Okay. So kung yung 2 yung nakita mo na proportion score, it means that there is a 1 to 10% range po na nag-positive sa staining. Okay? And then si doc na po ang mag-identify kung ilan po yung intensity score, kung gaano ka-intense po yung pagka-stain ng mga nakita ninyo. Okay? So ulaw pod kaayo, guys, na mataas mo na mag-perform ng proportion score tas dili mo kabalo. Okay? So, it takes time po, and minsan sila doc naman dyan na siya, but dun sa mga medtech po talaga na pinagkakatiwala nila doc, minsan medtech ang pinapabasa nila sa proportion score. Okay? So, let's say for example na nabasa ni doc is 2 plus din. So, i-add lang yan sila, no? 2 plus 2, yan po yung magiging all red score. Yan po yung magiging all red score. Okay? So, meron pong meaning yung score natin, no? So, let's say for example, ito, in this case, 4, diba? 2 plus 2, 4. So, may meaning po yan. So, kung 4 po yung nakita natin na all red score po ng total score natin, ang range po niyan is between 2 to 8 po, no? 0, then 2 to 8. In the case po, gaya na sinabi ko, it depends sa type po ng stain na ginamit, no? So, in this case po ng ERPR, kapag 4 pataas po or 3 pataas, no, it is usually positive na po. Consider na siya na positive na po siya, no? Basta 3 or more po yung score niya sa all red score. Okay? So once again, ito yung proportion, no? Nag-detect ka lang kung gaano kadami yung range. And then whereas ang intensity naman is kung gaano ka reactive sa stain po yung ating cells na makita. Okay? So, for the ERPR po, usually pag 3 pataas ang score, positive na po talaga siya. Ibig sabihin, positive na siya for ER and positive na po siya for ER. Depende po yun sa stain na gigamit at that time. Kung ER lang po yung stain, kasi minsan po, ang afford lang talaga ng mga patient is isa lang na stain. So, yun, malagay po yan sa result is positive for ER and PR po. Or ER lang or PR lang. Okay, but it is usually done po yung tatlo, ER, PR, and HER2/neu for the breast panel. Marami po tayong mga stain, guys, no? Meron pa tayong mga CD21, 23, 19, 20, yan. Depende po yan siya sa ating gi-request ni pathologist. Okay, after the biopsy. So, in this case, no, na 4 plus po yung score natin, so it means that positive na siya for ER/PR. Okay, so meron din tayong mga meaning po. Let's say, for example, ito na yung sa HER2/neu naman, no? Sa HER2/neu po, ito po yung kung kanina sa ERPR, it utilizes the all red score na pag 3 pataas, positive na. For the sa HER2/neu naman is same po siya, no? Merong pag 0, okay, no staining or complete faint, barely perceptible membrane staining less than 10% of invasive tumor cells. So, ibig sabihin, ito po yung mga ito po yung results po niya. So, dito po, tandaan natin always is, ang delikado po talaga sa breast panel is if ang nag-positive is the HER2/neu. Kasi po, kapag negative po siya sa ERPR, tas positive siya sa HER2/neu man good na positive na mga cancers, tends to transfer. Kung sa left breast po yung nagka-cancer sa inyo, may tendency po siya na mag-transfer, mag-metastasize sa kabila. So, delikado po yun. That's why yung treatment for HER2/neu positive po is different from ERPR na treatment. Okay? Another thing po na mas delikado, if walang nag-positive sa tatlo, if nagpa-test ka for ERPR, HER2/neu, then negative sila, nagka-triple negative sila, mas delikado po yun. You will not now know what kind of treatment ang ibibigay sa patient. Okay? Kasi negative man. Okay? So, dito sabi, negative pa din, no, for HER2/neu kahit na merong score na 1+. Okay? Yun, negative po siya. Tapos, positive po siya pag 3+. Okay? Positive siya for HER2 nyo kapag 3+. Okay? So, these are the different, colors po, no, results. So, ito yung mga negative for HER2 nyo. Pansin niyo wala masyadong brown. Okay? Kasi nga, 'di ba, mag-positive man siya pag mag-brown because of the DAB, because of the DAB, no, the DAB plus. Okay, yan, DAB ito siya. DAB itong may gawa nito. Kaya kami guys, minsan after ng IHC staining procedure, no, kahit na hindi pa namin siya makita masyado under the microscope, kung grabe ka intense ang pagka-brown, usahay makaingon na jud ka na ay positive ni. Okay? So once again, I hope isa puso natin ang steps, no. We have number 1, antigen retrieval, number 2, blocking, number 3, the addition of your primary antibody, number 4, your enzyme HRP, okay, number 5, the DAB blast, number 6, the counter staining, okay, and then tuloy-tuloy na. Okay, I hope hindi kayo mawala sa steps and procedures natin for IHC, and I really hope na meron kayong natutunan po in today's lecture. Okay, so thank you so much for listening and God bless everyone. Salamat po.